Welcome to YP Speaks podcast series. In this series, we bring to you young professionals who will share their experience. I'm your host, Pearl Pullen, and I will be with you in this journey today. This is our second episode, and we will talk about securing scholarships with our guest, Ms. Kirti Gautam. She is presently a technical solutions specialist for security in Cisco for more than 2 years and one of the most impactful IEEE Delhi section volunteers during her undergraduate years at IGDTW while bagging international accolades like James O'Gray Scholarship in 2017, IEEE Computer Society Richard E. Mervyn Scholarship in April 2017, and was a Grace Hopper Conference India Scholar in 2016. Presently at Cisco, she is progressively working at the intersection of technology and business and is committed to empowering people socioeconomically. Welcome, Kirti. Hi, Kirti, and welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. So let's begin.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah. So, what made you join IEEE and how did it help you in your career?
I think for everyone in Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University, the person who made us all join is Akash Thyal sir. He was very much into IEEE and he was giving us instances where it has helped a lot of our seniors and himself as well. So I was very excited, in the first year itself that let's try this and why don't we give it a try? And if it's so helpful, then let's just use it for our benefit. And that's how it started. But how it helped in my career is an answer which I will give in three parts. So the first is exposure. And I think you are also a part of IEEE and you would also agree to this that with IEEE, we are not just limited to our college, but the entire university landscape in India. So all the universities in Delhi, all the universities across India, I was getting a lot of exposure because of IEEE, and because of exposure, I got a lot of ample networking opportunities. So that helped me a lot, and it also helped me become a great mentor. So I've been mentoring quite a good number of people throughout my career as well as while I was in fourth year and third year. And becoming a great mentor is understanding people's equations with what they want to do. So it helped me identify those opportunities, helped me become a great mentor. And that's what I keep doing while in my professional career as well. So I'm a buddy mentor to some of the people who join from universities. And the third thing that it helped me with is actually giving me a great confidence boost. I was probably the youngest person to join IEEE Delhi section. So I was very happy. I was over the moon that, I have skills to showcase. I have ideas that people want to hear. And that was a great confidence booster. So yeah, that's probably a long answer to your very short question.
Along with all this, you were also the recipient of Richard E. Merwin, James O'Gray, and GHCI scholarships. So, first of all, how
Yeah.
did you get to know about these? Because most scholarships, they just go away and you know when people have received.
Right. So I think for Richard E. Mervyn, some of our college seniors got it. So that's how I heard about it. And also when I was in Delhi section, there was this chair, Vaibhav Vats, and there were a few members of the section itself. They got it, and I was like, what am I not doing that I didn't get it? So next time I applied, and I got it, fortunately. And for James O'Gray, I think it was the first time that the scholarship was actually initiated. So I got to know about it through a mailer. So I was probably the first person, along with someone in the graduate category, to get it across the entire globe. So that I was very fortunate that way. And for GHCI, again, like I said, IEEE provides us with a good number of exposure and great number of networking opportunities. And I was in ECE, so it's very hard to know about GHCI or even GHC and other women in technology scholarships, because people just assume by default that if you're in ECE, you'll probably do DSP or VLSI or things like that. So my networking opportunities that I was so fortunate enough to have, they helped me identify those people who were doing the things that I wanted to do. And that's how I heard about it and applied. And for everyone else, I would suggest that, not only Facebook, but try to interact more with the seniors who are doing a lot of great work, and they're getting the things that you want to get in future, at least you think that you want to get, so that your mind is very, very open to the new opportunities that are coming everyone's way. So if a train is gone, that's gone, don't fret about it. But for everything else, just try to interact more, be open, and just be more welcoming of the ideas and of the advices that people are giving in general. So yeah.
Now, with all that said, I see that you have a stellar profile. Though I don't know much in person, but your LinkedIn speaks volumes of your work. So, did it help you add value to your application, or was it the other way around? And were your applications just based on academics?
So I think it definitely, the work that I did while in college, it definitely adds a lot of value to your scholarship applications, because it helps you identify the problems, first of all, that you need to solve, that you can think of solving, right? So I was in EC and I saw that a lot of people were not motivated to try beyond what they were studying in college. So definitely my network helped me. Definitely the work that I was doing, my internships, they helped me. And with IEEE also, I think I was getting a lot of tech exposure of, I was making websites when I was in college, and of Tarangna, of, our technical festivals. So all of that combined helped me add more value to my scholarship application. And it's not just academics that help you, because see, I was never the first person or the 100 percentile, right? So but I was like a whole package, as you can say. So it's never that academics will help you in everything in your life. So there are various categories, various criteria involved with getting anything in your life, be it academics, or be it the other work that you're doing, be it the events that you're managing, or the societies that you're a part of. And secondly, I think that all these scholarships that we talk about, GHCI and Richard E. Morgan and so on. So they're also looking for brand ambassadors. So if you just keep writing about your academics, then you just don't get the point, because you also have to be outspoken about the work that, for example, CS Society and IEEE is trying to do. So they're also looking for brand ambassadors. So yeah, that's why I think that academics are definitely very important, but they're not the only criterion that is looked at when you're filling for your applications. Yeah.
Right. So now we've covered the things that should be included. So any
Yeah.
particular strategy you had while filling these applications, like for an essay, means a flow in which you would do, because you did those in 2 consecutive years. You got three amazing scholarships. So we just wanted to know about that.
So I think everyone relates to your story. So that's very important for you to just highlight in your applications. For example, where you started from, what are you trying to achieve in your life, and how will these scholarships help you? That's very important for you to say, because otherwise your application is just another application if there's no story around it. So that's one important thing. And there are other best practices that I would generally follow, and what I've told other people as well who are trying to get these scholarships. So one of the pointer is to start early. Don't just wait for the deadline to approach. For example, tomorrow is the deadline, so I'll start my application today, because you then don't have a window of getting recommendations from other people, or getting a feedback on your application, or even polishing it, for example. So start early. And then I think for college people who are going to colleges, I think they have a lot of work to showcase. So attach proofs of those. So your photos or your certificates, attach those, because everyone wants to see that you just are not speaking about the things that you did, but you also have proofs. So that help. And for, I think, people who are in college and universities, they just discount the work that they're doing, and they're not confident. So be honest in your application. Don't oversell yourself, because they'll identify it. Don't undersell yourself. The work that you're doing is important for you and the society that you're working for. So just don't undersell yourself. Being in college ki ye to important nahi hai, don't think about that. Just write whatever you think is best, whatever the work you've done, and just write it wholeheartedly, because you are passionate about it and that's why you did it.
Right.
And letters of recommendation and all, to everyone will say, but have clarity in vision. Like I said, why do you want this? Why do you want this application? Why do you want this scholarship? Why should they give it to you? Because there are multiple people who are applying it, so you should have a story. You should have proofs of the work that you're doing, and to start early. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a great point that you should not undersell or oversell yourself, because I think that's a mistake many people do. Either you say a lot or you be like, oh, I have done this, but I don't know if it's good. So thank you for that. Now, another thing I wanted to ask was that all these scholarships, it has the name, it has the fame, it has the scholarship amount. But other than that, has the scholarship in itself added value to your professional career or you entirely?
um, Very interesting question. um, So the thing about these scholarships is that in your professional career, they won't add value directly, because it's meant for students who are university grads, right? So they won't add value directly to what you're doing in your professional career. But for me, I think being a scholar has helped me stand out of the crowd, and it has given me a lot of confidence boost and a lot of exposure to different opportunities which are lying out there. So it's not just the scholarship amount that's important. So that's not a key takeaway from these scholarships. The key takeaway is always the confidence, and always the swag, and always that boost, that morale boost that you get when you get those scholarships, when you just receive that email that you won. So even now, if I look back, if I go to see my previous pictures of college time, and if I look at my emails, and if I look at my LinkedIn, it always gives me this confidence booster that I was someone and I was trying to do good work. I had some skills and I had some ideas that people wanted to hear. So even if it does not add value directly, but I think it's very, very important on a personal level that you're feeling confident. So whenever you're feeling low, you can always go back to see those certificates and feel good about yourself. And having said that, for people who don't get these scholarships, they must have done a lot of great work itself in their lives. And I mean, saying that a person has won scholarship, so they're doing good in life, is actually, I don't think it's a good practice, because I have seen a lot of my peers in my college times who did not get it, but they're doing so good in life because they wanted to do that hard work, because they were passionate about things that they wanted to achieve in their lives. So it's definitely a good thing to have, but it's not the end of life, right? In college. So yeah.
Okay. Now, since you're a young professional who's working, what is that one thing you would have liked to know before you began your job?
You are now getting to a deep level conversation. So,
Just an overview would be fine
um,
since we
so
have you
I
on board.
think, yeah. So I think when everyone begins their job, it's a very different experience for everyone in general. So it's not going to be the same for everyone, because everyone's changing different cities, people are changing jobs, people are changing lifestyles. So it's not going to be easy when we think about as compared to our college lives. College is a cocoon where you can learn and where you can implement your ideas. But life from there, it's not going to be a cocoon, but it's not going to be as scary as other people make it sound like. So that's one thing that I wish I'd known, because I used to think that, oh my God, tomorrow is my first day. I don't know, these people are going to eat me or what. So don't be scared. And another thing is that don't have any preconceptions before starting a job, because as you would have seen with COVID happening and all, things are changing drastically. What is relevant today might not be relevant 2 months down the line. So don't have any preconceptions about the work that you're doing in mind, because like I said, everyone has their own different experiences. So don't be judgmental. Stay neutral in your work. Get advices from people, have it in your back, in the back of your minds, but don't have any preconceptions, because those preconceptions might not stay relevant even 1 month later. So yeah, those are the things that I wanted, that I thought I should have known. And yeah, but yeah, things are fine. Things are fine now. So yeah.
Okay, and since you're a technical specialist, that sounds like a really heavy job. What is the one myth that is associated with it, or people usually consider you to be?
um I think people who are in industry, they actually don't have any myths surrounding my work. So if you've heard of any myths, I'd like to know and I'd like to debunk, because I've not heard of any myths around my job. So yeah, please be
Okay.
my guest and tell me if there are any myths so I
Or
can help
like
you.
when you say a technical specialist who is into the security field, like what do you do? Means you can't be busting people. So
so
just a
um,
description of your work.
So my work is actually revolving around the intersection of technology as well as business, because I'm in pre-sales in Cisco. So my job revolves around talking to people about Cisco technology and how it helps them solve their challenges, and they are manifold. I've heard customers, and India is not digital in itself, because I don't see a lot of companies, and especially government offices, they're not digitized. They were not ready for this pandemic. No one was ready for this pandemic. So my work revolves around understanding the technology, understanding those problems that these people might face, 4 months down the line or 10 months down the line, and talking to them about it. And yeah, being in pre-sales is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, because I was not a person who would sit in front of a computer and code like 9 hours a day. I was not that person. And so I think I was lucky enough to get here. And yeah, I find it very nice to do the work that I do on a daily basis. So for everyone out there, just do what you love, even if it might come late. But just keep doing what you love, and just keep working hard. And if there are any other myths that you think that are associated with my job, please get in touch with me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it.
Okay, so with that, how can the listeners get in touch with you? Which social media handles would you prefer?
So definitely for professional sphere, I would definitely prefer LinkedIn, because if they want to gather any professional advice, that's the place to go. But otherwise, also I'm there on Facebook and there on Instagram, and 2 weeks ago, I started my YouTube channel also. But
Oh,
yeah, please get in touch with me over LinkedIn, and yeah.
now, as this is a podcast in an interview format, two people talking, how can we not have a rapid fire round? So we won't keep it very technical, a little lighter
Okay.
bit. So here
Okay.
it goes. Your favorite food?
Italian food,
Okay.
Indianized Italian food. So I like pasta, lasagna,
Uh,
pizza, but with Indian masales.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Indian Italian.
Like NSP pasta, it's not Italian, but it's this is what Indians like, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then a little heavy question. Your favorite subject during BTech?
Oh my God. I think it has to be networking, because that's what I'm doing right now.
Uh,
So yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Your favorite song or
So my
music?
favorite song would be "Shotgun" by George Ezra. I really love it. I really love his voice. So yeah.
Nice choice. Then your favorite book?
It has to be Pride and Prejudice. This was, I think, the second book that I read while in school in eighth standard, and it has been a constant in all these years. So Pride and Prejudice.
Classic. Your favorite movie?
Oh my God. Can I give a movie series? Maybe
Yeah, that
Lord of
would
the
do.
Rings. Will that work?
Yes,
Will that
yes,
work? Yeah.
definitely.
So
No
those
issues.
three movies, Lord of the Rings, I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's the movie that everyone should see in this lockdown. It talks about courage. It talks about faith. So yeah, that's one of my favorite movies.
And before we end, your favorite quote and an advice for our listeners for
So,
starting off.
favorite quote. I can't say any Robert Frost poems, but maybe Rome was not built in a day. So keep working hard. That would be my advice as well. Rome was not built in a day. Keep working hard. Keep doing what you love. And don't think that it's a scary place. I think all the people who are university goers, people who are in college, they all feel that what will I do? What will I do 4 years down the line? Will I get a job or not? Everything will come into place, everything will just fall exactly where it's supposed to be. And just keep working hard, keep having that faith in yourself that you are going to do a lot in your life, you're going to achieve milestones, but it will take some time, it won't happen tomorrow, it won't happen the day after. So life is not a race, it's a marathon. Keep working hard, keep toiling, keep doing what you love, and you'll achieve whatever you set your mind to. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining. It's been nice coordinating with you and finally having this podcast. And thank you to our listeners. Make sure all of you are following IEEE Delhi section Young Professionals on Facebook and LinkedIn for the next episodes. So, see you soon.
Thank you for having me. Bye bye. Get in
Bye.
touch if you want.
Yes, sure.